Okay, so we've got a few things to do in the backyard today. One thing is right here. We've got a fertilizer that I'm going to put in buckets. We don't have a lot of storage area in our backyard because everything's taken up with plants. So I'm actually putting all the fertilizer in buckets, and then on these white lids, like this is going to be for the bag. It's 464. That's the strength, and I'm going to put that fertilizer in that bucket. I don't suggest these are actually from Lowe's. These particular lids, they're really inexpensive, but they are junk. They don't even halfway fit the bucket. So I suggest getting a little more expensive bucket lid. So this one's like $1 more, but it works so much better. So that's one of the projects that I'm going to do. Also, the other project is we're going to get these citrus plants. There's a couple of mandarin, there's a couple of Persian limes, and a key lime. And we're going to get those planted. And we're using this. This is a stay green version of the soil that I talked about in video 2. It's something that I like. It has a little bit of fertilizer mixed in already, and it also has a mix that will keep the moisture in to the potted plant. And that's one thing, you got to keep your potted plants moist because of the amount of sun or amount of that they dry out. The other thing is we're going to bring the rest of the greens in. We still have some greens in the yard. We've still got greens in our freezer, so we've really had a lot this year. So we let some of the greens stay in the ground a lot longer than we normally should or would have. But we did that because we've had so much. And so we've got enough. I think we're going to have to actually call a friend or two to see if we can share some of them with them. So that's what we're going to work on today. And I'm going to get started now. So the interesting thing about trying to video is that your neighbor's AC kicks on, and then your neighbors come out in their backyard and they're talking loud, just having fun, like you should on the weekend. But that's not the best for filming. Anyway, so we're doing our best. This side of the house, I left these greens growing. They've been growing for a couple of years. Some of them have gone to seed. So I'm just going to take the rest of what is growing that is edible and take that in, and then start working on some turnips that we've got growing. So this is a little area that we actually can show you. The ACs have both turned off. But we grow okra, and we're growing some cucumbers and some tomatoes back in here. It's actually just a little area that grass really didn't grow that well, and so I decided to go ahead and plant some things here. And especially the okra has been doing great. All right, so we've got our collard greens pulled, we've got our turnips pulled, we got our fertilizer in buckets, and then over here we've got our two mandarin trees, little bushes. I believe these are the Persian limes because they have thorns. And then at the end, we have our key lime. So the important thing is to put something in the bottom. So put rock at the bottom. We'll show pictures. You put rock at the bottom, and I put a little landscaping mat down to keep the roots out of sitting in water. So these do have trays on them, so water should come out, but if any water sits in the bottom, at least the roots won't sit in that water at the very bottom. Also, I ran out of rocks. So on the very last one, the two lids that I showed earlier, the lids that aren't very good for the buckets, I took a couple of little planting pots, cut them down to where they were a couple inches tall, put that at the bottom, and then I put a lid on top. So what that'll do, and then I put the landscaping mat on top of that, so that will keep the roots up out of any moisture that sits at the bottom. So that's the yard. We've got everything ready. So now all I got to do is go and relax. The best part of being done is having an ice cold brew thanks to Texas Lone Star Taps and Caps. And then even though it's only catch and release, at least we can do a little fishing.